Гледате Еден на еден. Вечерашен гостин Грандмастер Флеш.
Аплауз бе! Абе дали сте нормални? Аплауз за гуру, харе бе! Јас сум како да скоја нова Еден на еден. Аплауз, дами и господа убави. И благодарам што дојдовте. Пред известно време, пред мислам 11 месеци така нешто, имавме интервју со градоначалникот на Македонија, Охајо. Да, Македонија, Охајо во Америка, Джозеф Милјорини. Да, имавме скайп интервју и еве како изгледаше тоа, да видиме. From a scale of 1 to 5, one being the least, 5 being the most, tell me how do you stand over there with, let's say, corruption? Let's compare our Macedonians. Corruption?
I would say that overall, in our smaller cities, we have very little corruption. I mean, certainly in the bigger cities and in different areas, I would probably put it like a 2.
Like a 2, okay. We're more like 22 over here. Да, во меѓувреме ние сме Северна Македонија, тие си останаа Македонија, ама ете тоа е тоа. Но, друго ми е поентата, што е ново кај градоначалникот на Македонија, Охајо? Да видиме. Ново е дека е во затвор заради домашно насилство. Прекрасно, видите? Да. Джозеф Милјорини. Харе, си се знаеве распоредот на врските од понеделник до петок на работа, сабота е ден за кладилници и кафана, недела е ден за старо добро домашно насилство. Прав македонец. Прав македонец, нормално. Браво! Браво! Пред некое време во владата на Северна Македонија беше извршено истражување на темата дали има преголемо грчко влијание врз вашите одлуки. Резултатите се следниве. 40% одговорија не, 60% одговорија охи. Излезе нова книга со светски поговорки, но променети за да бидат адекватни на новиве генерации. Па така поговорката, веројатно ја знаете, дај му на човека риба и ќе биде најаден еден ден, научи го да рибари ќе биде најаден цел живот, се заменува со вработи човек како хонорарец и ќе биде вработен една година, роди го во фамилија на Дуи и ќе биде вработен цел живот. Тоа е ново. Да. Овие вработувања на роднини и пријатели, тоа сето отиде до таму што има нова реклама за тоа. Да, луда работа, има нова реклама телевизиска. Ајде да не објаснуваме, ќе се видите. Пуштете ја рекламата.
Сакаш да изненадиш сопругата? Цвекиња и чоколадца, ти се демоде, а? Сите пари ги потроши на швалерката? Срам да ти е. Бараш ли нешто што ќе ја задоволи за секогаш, ама не е многу скапо? Па, другар, ти препорачуваме! Вработување во Елен! Вработија во Елен!
Работата нема да таа вечно, ќе завршите од другата власка. Кога сме кај вработувањата, не знам дали знаете, мајката на Боки 13 беше поставена за член на Комисијата за слободен пристап до информации, но си даде оставка по само една недела од именувањето. Боки 13 изјави дека тоа било правилна одлука, а со истото се сложи и неговите родители, Цоки 6 и Роки 7. 7 и 6, 14, 13. Веќе не забележувате, знаете, се става Северна на секаде пред Македонија, нели, на официјални веб страници, на, не знам, државна администрација, на патокази, дури и YouTube реагираше. Не знам дали сте пуштиле YouTube видео во последно време. Некаде кај што се спомнува Македонија. Има нешто чудно, луѓе, еве, да видиме, значи, што се случува на такви видеа.
Македонија.
Kad si sam, kad je sve, tužno ti se sjeti.
Северна
Makedonija ti pruža ljubav i sve.
Ами YouTube! Битно сме во НАТО. Кога сме кај НАТО? Премиерот Зоран Заев изјави дека Британија излегла од ЕУ за да ослободи место за нас. Од извори блиски до владата дознаваме дека следно се работи на тоа Бразил да излезе од светско во фудбал за ние да влезе. Се почесто велат дека младите во Македонија биле функционално неписмени или дека не знаат одредени букви од кирилицата. Има многу такви статии во последно време. И запрашани дали сметате дека интернетот влијае негативно на писменоста на младите. 10% од младите одговорија да, 20% од младите одговорија не, 70% од младите одговорија не знам, може би, не битно. Ова знаете дека зборува дека младиве као не знаат З и Дж. Прочитавте тоа, знаете. Види, значи сега се обраќаме директно на вас што не знаете. Ако стварно не знаете З и Дж, не се секири, сега ќе ви помогнеме. Значи З е онаа буква што ти се појавува кога имаш кирилична подршка и куцаш дзоутубе. Тоа е Дж. А Дж ти е онаа буква што ти се појавува кога имаш кирилична подршка и куцаш Дж видеос, ти искачат. Тоа е. Тоа е тоа. Дж. Безобразно малку.
Ја не го разумам.
Не знаеш, нели? Немој ни да знаеш. Експертите велат дека гласовите од младите ќе одлучеле кој ќе бил председател на следните избори во Македонија. Па така, голем дел од кандидатите кажуваат некои работи за да се додворат на младите, деме као еве и ние сме како вас. Па на пример така од СДСМ пред извесно време кажаа демек и ние исто висиме на Инстаграм цело време ко вас младите. Не знам, Силјановска кажа и ја исто дремам на Снепчат исто како вас младите. Амди Байрам кажа и ја исто не знам да ги напишам за иџе. Исто како вас младите. За да им се додвори. Во петокот имавме 8 март. Да, убав празник. Вообичаено периодов излегуваат статии од типот што да и подариш на женати. Нели таков тип на работи, ама ние решивме поинакво нешто да направиме, да им се обратиме на жените со топ 5 листа, бумбарче. Може да направиме? Топ 5 листа, ова се топ 5 работи кои не смеете да им ги дозволите на мажите. Топ 5 работи кои не смеете да им ги дозволите на мажите. Значи, број 5. Не му дозволувајте на сопругот да гледа порно видеа. Поради тоа што тие даваат лажна слика за реалноста, ни еден мајстор не ти доаѓа за 10 минути кога ќе викне. Се молам. Број 4. Никако не му дозволувајте на сопругот да почне да оди по фризери. Еден ден ќе си ја вработи фризерката у министерство. Немој. Број 3. Не му дозволувајте на сопругот да оди и да се пијанчи во кафана, поради тоа што пиењето алкохол има сериозни последици, како например губење меморија, повторување на работи, губење на меморија, повторување на работи и многу останати лоши работи, како например губење на меморија. Број 2. Не му дозволувајте на сопругот да виси на Фејсбук. Може погрешка да стисне лайк на нешто што не треба, ко например нозете на Маријана, градите на Лила или не дај Боже лайк на кампањата на Амди Байрам. И број 1. Број 1. Не му дозволувајте на сопругот да оди и да се пијанчи во кафана, поради тоа што пиењето алкохол има сериозни последици, како например губење на меморија и повторување на работи, луѓе. Благодарам, Бумбар. Пред известно време, луѓе, бевме исплашени малку. Не знам, ќе ми кажете дали и вие. Ние се исплашивме од веста дека се подготвувале некакви терористички напади. Да. Па во многу информативни емисии викна експерти да ја објаснат работата. Па така, на пример, да видиме, професорот Пивоваров рече се терористички. Професорот Пивоваров го викнале, па требало професор Тероубитов или доктор Нападоспречовски да го викнат, не Пивоваров. Глупост. Пивоваров го вика за Другите некои спекулираат дека Никола Димитров и Никола Поповски ќе формирале партија заедно. Партијата се уште нема име, но веќе има трет член, мистер Бин. Да. Тоа е првата партија во која сите ќе бидат како еден. Многу сложни, сакам да речам, ќе бидат. Сите едно те исто. Одиме сега со... Немаме многу време, имам време, едно ќе направам, ајде. Значи, јасновидец, правиме јасновидец. Ова е моментот кога одговараме на прашања без да знаеме кој е прашањето. Одговорот на ова прашање е добар е мустаклијата. Ова е, не знам, малце е чудно, ама така ми доаѓа. Добар е мустаклијата. Одговорот е добар е мустаклијата. Не. Прашањето е во што се сложуваат членовите на бендот Queen и сите поранешни девојки на Чомовски. Се враќаме со Грандмастер Флеш во еден на еден. Грандмастер Флеш. А сега, Харе, take it away.
Секоја кесичка чај е произведена следејќи ја традицијата и е зачинета со единствена грижа и љубов за вас. Good Nature, најдоброто чајникот на природата. Алкалоид, Скопје.
Со секој изгреј сонце се раѓа нов ден, а денот е најубав кога почнува дома. Онаму каде што си сигурен, безбеден, среќен. Затоа сме тука. Golden Art. Дом, не само стан.
Погледни поинако. Не сум само празна кутија. Утре може да се вратам во нова форма. Амбалажата што има минато, може да има и иднина.
Ослободете се од хартијата и од композитот во новите сини контейнери во вашиот град. Заедно за почиста животна средина. Селектирај иднина. Пакомак.
Крал, нови правила.
Сега пеам заљубен, преград отворам јас. Слејан сум со пролета и со се во овој пот.
Крали Марко, пиво за уживање.
Прочитај повеќе.
Големиот романтичар и миленикот на сите генерации, Владо Јаневски. 16 март, Випарена Борис Трајковски. Билети во Купи карти за се, Пола Југотон и Цвеќара Розеверо 2.
Пакувај се и уживај овој Великден. Савана те носи со авион во Рим, Малта и Париз. Имаме и автобуски аранжмани до Јужна Италија, Букурешт, Венеција, Верона и Фиренца, Тиват, Прага и Виена. Затоа провери во Савана, резервирај и пакувај се за великденско патување.
Што се друго изгледа помало. Стоби флипс Магнус, голем флипс со збогатен вкус од 30% кикирики. Витаминка.
Со потекло од чистите и зелени планински долини, направени по стари, традиционални рецепти. На современ начин и модерни технологии. До совршен вкус. 100% млечни производи. 100% малешевски производи. Купувајте малешевски производи.
Долага зимска ноќ, паѓаат први снегови. Мајде пробај ме на -20.
Потопло, поевтино, поквалитетно.
Еко Лайф пелет за вас.
Секоја кесичка чај е произведена следејќи ја традицијата и е зачинета со единствена грижа и љубов за вас. Good Nature, најдоброто чајникот на природата. Алкалоид, Скопје.
Извинете, не ве видов, недела, па оривче и батачиња. Кој е среќен и кара батак, деца? Туку да се префрлиме ние на зборот на денот. Денешниот збор е бокето. Бокето, што на јапонски значи она кога ќе се замислиш и загледаш некаде далеку во далечината. Бокето.
Жаре!
Извини, се мислев во ствари како сега ќе се напијам чај. Ето тоа. Ето ти. Не. Толку, а?
Good Nature! Good Nature ви препорачува да се напиете зелен чај со ѓумбир и куркума, мешавина од билки кои помагаат во одржување, стимулирање и ревитализирање на организмот. А ако барате ново место за живење, не ви треба нешто просечно, тоа е ретка одлука и затоа ви треба најдоброто и најдокажаното, а тоа е Golden Art, дом, не само стан. Ако водите динамичен живот, знаете да заглавите на некој диџеј како Грандмастер Флеш, да речеме, да доцна, ви треба нешто вкусно и полно со протеини, топ десерт со вкусна чоколада, ванила, карамела и ментол, тоа е Ерман Гранд Десерт протеин. Без шекер, без лактоза, без глутен, но полн со протеини, Ерман Гранд Десерт протеин. И имаме изненадување, дечки, за сите што сте тука во публика. Владко Лозановски на 23 март во VIP Арена прави концерт, а вие погледнете под седиштата, за некој од вас има изненадување, имате карти за Владче. Оп, да видиме. Оп. Некаде има. Ајде, оп. Кој најде карти? Ти најде карти. И ти најде карти. Честито. Ако не кеш да идеш, дај ги на друг. Да. А сега времето е перфектно за нашиот денешен гостин. Токму така. Кој ни е наш денешен гостин? Ајде да видиме кој ни е гостин. Токму така. Како што најавивме, дами и господа, имаме многу специјален гостин денеска. Во студиото е никој друг. Туку Грандмастер Флеш! Yeah! Grandmaster, welcome. So, Grandmaster Flesh, born in Barbados, grew up in the Bronx. How did that happen?
My family hails from the Barbados, and I grew up in the Bronx, yes.
So they came to the U.S. first?
Yes. My grandmother, grandfather, yeah.
So you're a New York child?
I'm a New York child.
To say?
That's fair to say.
Oh, okay, New York child. And you were fascinated with music really from the get-go, really from the young age. Like, what was your first memory you have of you being like, oh, damn, that's awesome, music, I like that?
I was a child, and my father was a collector of records.
Okay.
And he had a very priceless collection that we were not allowed to touch. And
nothing?
We weren't allowed to touch it. It was just his personal collection when he came home from a hard day of work. And we were advised never touch the records and never touch the stereo. But of course, I was very intrigued, so I used to touch it and you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not doing percussion?
No, I'm not doing percussion, not at all.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah. But you say prize collection, like were there stuff that even he didn't open the record, you know, like did it stay in the...
No, I'm talking about valuable records. Old Miles Davis, Glenn Miller, Artie Shaw. These are records that were like 30s, 40s. No, I have, my father's passed away, so I have the collection.
You have it now?
Yeah, I do.
Do you play them sometimes just for old time's sake?
Oh, every now and then I'm looking for a sample to add a beat to. Yeah, every now and then.
Listen, when you do that, like a musician, do you have to ask for a permission? Can I sample your stuff or something like that?
Of course you have to ask for permission. You know, it's somebody else's works. But a lot of times these particular samples that are used are songs that nobody's playing. So we take things that nobody's listening to and make them pretty big records.
Pretty big records. So
hip-hop
probably
is
you're
pretty big.
helping them out, in a way.
Kind of helping each other out, you know, and they give us a percentage and their record comes back to life. I think it's a fair deal.
It's a fair deal.
I think so.
Of course. So, your parents enrolled you at Samuel Gomper's technical school. It's a tech school.
Yes.
Do you think that without the technical school, you would become Grandmaster Flash? Like, do you need as a Grandmaster Flash the tech education to be Grandmaster Flash?
If I didn't go to Samuel Gomper's, I probably would have not been able to do this because how I came up with the turntable technique was based on science, math. So I had to count bars and figure out how many times to bring it back with duplicate copies of the record to extend the drum break so the human beings could speak on it.
And it's a time when nobody did it. You really had no manual.
Right.
So it was all in your head.
All in my head, just something happening in my head, yeah. I was not very happy with the way things was happening musically. Yes.
So, I mean, yeah, true pioneer in that sense, of course. Can we have a round? Of course. And people on the internet say that you were going to the record stores like really early in the morning and then staying up till, I don't know, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Like, what were you doing the whole day in the record stores? Just listening?
Coming up in my household, my older siblings used to listen to various types of music, whether it was pop, rock, jazz, blues, funk, Latin, disco, R&B, alternative. So to find the right records to jam a party during this period of time, you had to go into the bins where it was the white bands, the black bands, the foreign bands, the American bands, the pop, the rock, the jazz, the blues. And there's no way to go, no quick test. You had to sit there and just kind of take the record home until you found that.
And was there a booth so you can listen to the records in the record store or no?
Well, I think I probably had a privilege because I knew a lot of the record store people, so they would take me in the back and there'd be a turntable there and I would be like, you know, and a lot of my breaks, I found them on white records, I found them on black records, I found them on pop, I found them on foreign records, I found them on American records, and I just acquired the
Could you remember
collection.
Of a record that people made fun of you perhaps? Like, you like that record?
What? Some of the records you mean?
Yeah, like, for example, I don't know, Beach Boys maybe, you like some, I don't know.
I don't think they would laugh because, you know, a lot of times you would find the most awesome record in the most unexpected place. Like the Beatles had some real hot hip-hop jams where the drums was really dope and we would use it. Or whether it be Led Zeppelin or Thin Lizzy, you know, or
Thin Lizzy, damn, yeah.
Yeah, so we looked, searched everywhere, so that's why we were in the stores so long.
What's the, okay, you ready? Like, what's the farthest place you ventured to and you found a great sample?
When I finally found my copy of Apache, I only had one.
Okay.
So the next one had to come from England.
Okay.
So I had to pay for it, and they mailed it to me. So now I had two copies. But you had to have two copies of it. You had to find it at all costs because one is not good enough. One is nothing.
And why do you need two?
Because the particular area that you want to expand on, you want to continue it. So it's like clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, until 10 seconds turns into 10 minutes.
Okay, so basically the idea is I have a sample, but now how to make it continuous.
Human sampling, yeah, like cut and pasting, like humanly.
And how did people react when you came up with the concept? Like, were they like, what? What is he doing?
So if I was where you are, standing up with the turntables right there, people would run behind and look under to see if it was
they didn't believe
some
it.
sort of trick. Yeah, it was.
It's a magic.
It was.
Wow. Great. And I read that you were probably the first, one of the first, if not the first, human who has laid a finger on a record and did a scratch.
I probably was the first DJ to put my fingertips on the record, and the reason why I had to do that is because the particular area that I wanted was so short. Okay. So to pick the arm up and drop it back down, the chances of you getting in the exact same spot is 1,000,000 to none. So I had to figure out a way to get back to that part by using duplicate copies of the record. So I had to put my fingertips on the record, and I would count how many times, let's just say if it was on Atlantic Records, okay. And let's just say the A was at the top of the break, and I would count how many times the A would count. If it went 6 times, I knew I had to go 6 times back. Boom.
But that's pressure, man. I mean, you have to do
it's
the
math
counting.
And it's science. So I could take a great little section that's incredible and just make it incredible for a very long time.
Yeah.
Not realizing.
Yeah. I mean, it's an instrument all of a sudden.
It is an instrument. It is my instrument.
It is an instrument. But do you play another instrument? Like, do you have an ordinary classical instrument?
I did something very silly, and when I was going to school, I cut music class. I couldn't figure out the black dots.
The notes.
What the hell is this? I didn't know what that was. And I couldn't get back, I couldn't figure it out. Being a producer now, I think it was a dumb idea. I should have went. So, but now I booked the musicians now, so it's cool.
They do their thing.
Yeah, right? They do. I paid them now, yeah.
And
yeah.
Who's the most impressive of them all? Like, that you just go, man, you're a god.
As far as artist?
A musician, yeah, like.
Let me see. I lost my nerve when I was in front of 2 people.
Okay.
Prince. And probably James Brown. These 2 people.
Godfather.
Yeah. It was just totally impressive.
Why those 2? Like, why not, I don't know, Jay-Z or whoever?
That's because James Brown and them took something from absolutely nothing. It's like they made this sound from nothing. Like, and I think that Prince personally was one of the only artists that can make an album one year that sounds like this, and then the next one would sound like that. And he was still selling records. I think he was a straight-up genius. And James Brown just came up with a sound that many bands today, follow it. That funk sound.
And those geniuses, do they have to be eccentric in a way?
Sure.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, can they be, quote unquote, normal and be geniuses?
I'm not normal. No, I don't think normal. I think outside the box all the time.
So that's given.
Yeah, pretty much. You have to kind of super micromanage and analyze music and figure out how could you readjust it, whether you play an instrument or you play turntables. Either way, it's all musicianship.
Exactly. So your career started at the 70s.
Yes.
No social media, no YouTube, no Google, no anything. Like, what do you think? Is it, when you look back, did you have an easier, a more difficult time?
Oh.
Just comparing to the guys who are starting up and all of a sudden they're like, boom, everybody knows them. But they last for 2 months and then everybody forgets them.
I think it probably was more difficult back then.
More difficult?
Yeah, because you had to, you didn't get an instant audience. You had to build your audience
really slow,
from
right?
nothing. It's a very slow process.
And you have to have patience.
Yeah, pretty much a lot of patience. You got to, the way I see it is you have to conquer your block, then conquer your town, then conquer your state, and then go after the country, and then go after other countries.
So when a young kid comes up and he's like, damn, Flash, I'm really bummed up because I've got 30 people in the crowd. No, what do you say to him?
It's a wonderful thing. I say stay with it, stay persistent. And if you continue to please your audience, because the way that I see it, we musicians, we DJs, and we artists are servants.
Okay.
If you can get in the heads of a mass of people in front of you, those people will be
evangelists.
They'll tell people, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's
There's
pretty
this
much
guy.
what happened. Yeah,
Great.
Yeah.
That's a good advice. That's for sure a good advice. So, can you take me back to the times of the block parties, just you starting up? Like, what was your pathway?
My pathway was probably after I figured out how to do the technique. It was trying to get an audience. So,
but you were ready, right? When you came out, you knew I'm good at this.
I said I was good at it, but I think the biggest problem was when I first did it in front of people. Okay. I said I'm playing the drum breakdown of this pop record into this jazz record, into this blues record, this funk record, and I'm playing the most climatic part of all these different genres, and they're going to lose their mind and they're going to throw their hands in the air, and it was quiet as this.
And they're coming up as you.
And it was quiet, and it really scared me because after just staying in the bedroom for 3 years and just figuring it out, why is it so quiet in this park? Why aren't people losing it?
Yeah,
Why?
I haven't imagined in this way.
And I went home. I was pretty bummed out. I was like, and I went back to my computations and I tried to figure out what's wrong, what's happening here.
Were you nervous? Did you make mistakes? Because it's a precise thing. Like if you miss this beat, it's over.
I make mistakes now, but that's what makes it wonderful.
Even now you make mistakes?
Yeah,
No way.
Of course I make mistakes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I make mistakes. We were in Warsaw last night. And I made a few mistakes, but the crowd stays with you. That's what makes it wonderful. Yeah.
And like, is it at one of those parties that Deborah Harry from Blondie comes in and you meet her for the first time?
Oh, a good friend of mine's, he played a joke on me. He says, it actually was Fat Five Freddy. He later went on to be the host of a show called MTV Raps. Now, before he had all that, he was coming to my parties on a regular basis. And he says, man, one day, I'm gonna bring Blondie up to the Bronx and
they're like really super big, right?
And she's gonna meet me. I'm like,
all right.
Yeah, okay, Freddie, okay. And a couple of weeks passed by, and I know that my audience, you know, my flock was primarily blacks and Latinos. Okay. But there was this blonde person coming from the back of the room. She really stood out, right? And she and then when she got to where I was playing, she says, "I'm gonna write a song about you because I've been watching you for the last 20 minutes on the turntables." Okay. And of course, I was diplomatic in the back of my mind. Yeah, this is bull crap. She's not gonna do this. And about a year and a half later, this song came out, and people were saying, "Nice new song you got with Blondie." And I'm like, what exactly are you talking about? She kept her word. And that particular song widened my audience tenfold.
What was the name of the song?
Rapture. So from that point there, now I was able to start going into not only the African-American clubs, I can go into the white clubs, I can go into the foreign clubs, and then it just kind of opened. Yeah, everything starts to go to the next level. So it was absolutely wonderful.
Do you got the record? Rapture by Blondie, just so we can remember what was the song. Can you play it? Awesome.
Wow.
You got it? The way Flash, like, weren't you supposed to be in the actual video?
Now, I really wanted to be in it, but the record company that I was trapped in said.
Ah, you had contracts.
Yeah, I was in a situation where I could not get into that. I was pretty angry over that, but
so you wanted?
I wanted really badly to be in that video, really, really badly. Yeah.
Гледате Еден на еден, овозможено од Малешевски, 100% млечни производи.
And you've obviously collaborated with legends and everything, and I hope we can get to that. But there's this thing that just popped out, The Clash. It's also nothing that you would associate with Grandmaster Flash, perhaps.
Sure.
And you were opening up for them, right?
Well, what had happened was we had got the call into the office saying that they insisted that we play with them and
together.
Yeah, now I was collecting records, so I knew of them, but I was.
Is it like the Guns of Brixton phase, or?
This is the mid 80s, and it's like, I'm like, this doesn't seem like this is going to work in the same room.
Who offered you that? Like, whose idea is Grandmaster Flash and Clash? I guess they rhyme, so why not?
The lead member of the group insisted. He says, we're going to play this club called Bonds, which was in Midtown Manhattan, and they insisted on having us open for them. I didn't see why, I didn't know why, but that's what they wanted to do, and it was a very interesting experience.
How interesting? Well, you're not saying interesting, right?
I'm saying interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, like.
I guess the crowd, like, who's ever going to see the Clash is not pretty much expecting Grandmaster Flash.
No. It was a pretty interesting night. And then the first night, let's just say, went rough. And then we said we're not, and they wanted us for 3 nights. We said we weren't coming back, but they insisted that we come back the second night. And we just did some adjustments and some tweaking.
Okay.
And then it all worked out fine. But
the crowd started showing love?
Yeah. The night before, no love.
No love the night before?
No love that.
Okay. And like, you guys probably don't know, but Grandmaster Flash's real name is Joseph Sadler. Like, who named you Grandmaster Flash? Is it your idea, or?
I had a best friend when I was a kid, and his name was Gordon. And because I used to run very fast, he named me Flash.
I thought it was because of the turntables.
But I got to finish the story.
Okay.
So, like 73, 72, 73, January, a fan of mine that was coming to the parties, his name was Joe Kidd, real famous guy. He used to come to the party. He says, yo, Flash, you handle those turntables like a grandmaster. And I looked at him and said, what did you say?
Grandmaster?
He says, you handle the turntables like a grandmaster. And that night I had to go home and do research.
Yeah.
And people that were grandmasters were like Bruce Lee, the martial arts. Yeah. Geller, the guy that did the chess. There's a few people, and then I started kind of saying it to myself.
But that's a nice company.
Flash, Grandmaster, and kind of, here we are.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. And what about the early days of DJing? Like, how do you sell yourself even? You know, here's this guy totally new at what you're doing. How do you say, let me come to your club and I will do this scratching and DJing and mixing and people don't even know the concept? Like, how do you sell it?
This probably was extremely difficult for me because the word had gone around that I put my fingertips on records when records were really treated very gently, and then me moving the record back and forth. So a lot of my friends were in the clubs DJing, so I would go to them like, listen, put a good word in for me. Okay. And they were like, it's never gonna happen. Like,
keep your fingers on the records first.
You're not, you look at what you're doing to records, and it was a real hard time trying to get a job, but then this thing started to catch on.
Okay.
You know, so a lot of people.
This was before Blondie, right? Before,
yeah, much before Blondie. Exactly. So it caught on, and I think that probably saved everything because now every DJ had to retool himself and go home and do that. You know, so
what was the process? You first mastering or grandmastering, if you will, the 2 turntables, and then all of a sudden you started coming up with all those weird techniques of just scratching behind the back and whatnot.
Oh, that's when I got comfortable with it. But for a long time, I had to figure out, like, what was pop, and what was rock, and what was jazz, and what was blues, and what was funk, and what was disco, what was R&B, what was alternative. I had to figure out white music, black music. I had to figure out how do I take all these different genres of music and make the one big song without it sounding messy. So that took quite a few amount of years. But once I figured that out, I always said to myself, music has no color. And that's the way that I came up in my household. So
it's good or bad, right?
I think it was wonderful because there's some funky white boys,
music.
Funky black guys, there's funky Americans, there's funky, you know, foreign people. And that's how I came up.
And what was kind of your favorite thing to do when you did it all? So I'm going, you know, a little bit further. What is your favorite thing to do when you wanted really to impress the crowd? Like, what did you do when you really wanted to go, peak? What was your kind of magic?
I think the latest magic was I assembled a team, right? And I said to myself, when I go into a place and I play, because of the way the turntables are arranged, you cannot see what I'm doing. So I put together a team, and we decided that we're going to put cameras on me wherever I go, and an LED is part of the contract. If you don't have an LED wall like that,
you're not coming.
I'm not doing it. So now when you see me play now, and I've got technicians back there, I got Adam and Lenny and Damo, and they put this whole thing together. So when I walk on stage, when I want the crowd to follow me, like if I'm playing good times, zoom, zoom, good times, zoom, zoom, good. Now you can see what it is that I'm doing, and it's easy for me to explain to you what it is that I'm doing. So now it's called hip hop.
And they go
people,
berserk.
Places, and things, and they go berserk with me.
Awesome. And like, you were the first DJ who designed your own DJ device. It was called the Flash Former. I mean, this is long before Beats by Dre and whatnot. Like, you were the first. How did it came about?
I think that when I went to Samuel Gompers Vocational Technical High School, I learned about, the ohm meter, signal generators, AC versus DC, solid state, diodes, semiconductors, and how it all worked, resistors, capacitors. So once I figured this all out, I know that in the art of DJing in the hip-hop world, it's an opening and closing of the fader. So why not put it horizontal, where you could hit it, and every time that you hit it is like
So it was vertical before that?
So it's horizontal, which is this way, but then, let me see, it was 2 buttons and you would hit them. So when you hit them, the circuit would close. When you let your fingers off of it, it's open, so it was spring-loaded switches. So you could go, take a and it'll go and I was just kind of
It's a new thing all of a sudden.
I don't know. I was just, and a lot of DJs that were doing that at that time, because I didn't. It was this DJ by the name of Jazzy Jeff and Jeff and Cash Money. And like, they did this thing where they would break it down even further. So it's a lot of great DJs that took this particular style, and it's Grand Wizard Theodore, and the names go on and on and on. That took this thing to so many levels. Now it's a million.
And where's the technology now? Like, what's the latest in DJing? What's the latest
I think there's
gadgets?
There's so many things. I can't even name them. There's some technology where it does it for you. I don't like that too much. I'd rather you see people watch you doing it, even if you make mistakes. That's the technology that I like. But then there's technology where they do it for you. Telling lies.
Totally get it. Окей, ќе се вратиме со Грандмастер уште малку да позборуваме, чисто да направиме една мала пауза. Може, Харенце? Ајде, чисто едно мал брейк со Харе. Гуру Харе Бен, се враќаме веднаш со Грандмастер Флеш. Назад тука сме со Грандмастер Флеш, кој што инаку мора да се заблагодариме на Sure Shots Entertainment и 3 гонга што ни го овозможија ова задоволство. А пред да продолжиме со него, чисто да ви информираме дека пролет е супер време за да се спакуваш и да одмориш некаде. Савана има одлични велигденски понуди, затоа провери ги на Савана и пакувај се. Вчера ни стигна писмо од Индијана Џонски со опцување со сите тие работи. Значи, луѓе, рециклирајте, пластика во пластика, хартија во хартија, стакло во стакло, селектирајте ѓубре, не бидете вие ѓубриња. Затоа, на пример, кога со мешески пиете златен даб, од стакло нас ни е омилено, на пример, секогаш го фрламе во зелените контейнери обележани токму за стакло. Морате тоа да го правите, да си ја чуваме планетата, а сега се враќаме. Грандмастер Флеш! Flash.
Can I ask you?
Yeah, sure.
You said that like I was like you was talking like I was teaching very. What did you just say?
You think I was talking about you?
No,
like,
I think you.
It sounded like that. I should give you the audio.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
I should give you the audio and then you can do it in the show. So you were involved also in video production. I'm talking about Netflix. There was this show called The Get Down. It was TV series. It aired on Netflix, and you were involved in it.
Yes.
In what way? When
the call came into the office, I was asked to be a consultant.
Consultant?
A consultant. And I remember when the call came in, and a lot of times I get phone calls like this: we want you to do this TV show, we want you to do this, that. A lot of it turned out to be crap. So I thought this probably was some sort of crap again. So we took the call, and then I made some phone calls because I never heard of Baz Luhrmann. I'm like, who is this guy? And when I called up some of my big friends in the music business, it says, are you crazy? This guy's one of the most important when it comes to making films. You know,
who calls you? Netflix?
No, I call some of my friends to find out.
But in the first place, Netflix
Baz Luhrmann called me personally.
Oh, personally? Okay.
You know, so we met, and then he took me into this room, maybe the size of this, and he had a timeline worth of articles. He's asking me, is this right? Is that right? Do we need to fix this? Do we need to fix that? And will you be my consultant? And then consultant turned into producing.
Just so they know, like, what was the Get Down? What was the
Get Down pretty much was like a characterization of a period of time when hip-hop was very young.
Young, okay.
Okay? And
the beginnings.
Yeah, like pretty much the beginnings and how things took place, like as a little business. This is years before it was big business, so
you were here to tell like true from false.
I was able to tell, but with Baz, it's like he takes wonderful visuals and he makes them look like totally incredible. So we weren't trying to make a documentary. We were just showing a period of time of where hip hop was when it was extremely young.
Exactly. So we know, so we can know the origin.
Right. Right.
Okay, great idea. But also, I mean, when you talk about Netflix, there's also HBO, and you did some work also for Chris Rock, I believe, who did his show, the Chris Rock Show, and Chris Rock is like mega. I mean, he's awesome. Probably one of the top 5 comedians or top 10 comedians of all time. Yeah. What was that like Chris Rock?
There was a gentleman by the name of Nelson George, a very famous journalist. Okay. We were in a club at the moment. He says to me, there's this new comedian coming up. His name is Chris Rock.
He was new at the time.
Yeah, and he's gonna probably want you to spin some records and, you know, for the show. And I was like, oh, Nelson, shut up, you know, whatever. And I says, I'll tell you what, here's a number to my attorney. You know, if this thing turns out to be whatever it is, a couple of months later, attorney calls. Something came in from somebody by the name of Chris Rock, and they want to do a pilot. You know, and it was supposed to be a pilot for 1 year. So I went from just spinning a few records to being his musical consultant. And that's where I actually got to meet Prince.
Throughout the whole show, right? You were there working on the music?
1 year turned into 5 years. We could have went further, but me and Chris felt like, you know, let's leave the show at a peak period and not overdo it. But 1 year turned into 5 years.
So what you're saying is basically Chris Rock, his popularity and stardom grew with that show, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And did he change because, like, all of a sudden he's really world famous? Or
no, he's always been a great boss. He was a great boss, and he would ask me like, okay, we've got Jay-Z coming next week. How do you want to enter with him? What music do you think we should play? And I would tell him this. He says, oh, Prince was coming, or whoever was coming. We want you to bring them in as opposed to, you know, using a band. You got a cool band, by the way, man. So
that's an awesome band. I gotta tell you.
But you have to smile. You have to smile more.
The drummer?
Yeah, you know, because you're a very important part of hip-hop. You're a very important part of hip-hop.
The most important.
The drum break, that's very, very important. See, he's smiling right now.
Yeah, now he's smiling.
Yeah, so now pretty much, you know, I was responsible for all the music that took place on the show. It was really great.
That's great. Like,
for 5 years.
Who else came in? Like, okay, Jay-Z, Prince.
Oh, my goodness. Oh my God, it was so many people. I can't even remember.
But listen, forget about that. When we're talking about Jay-Z, you were also conducted in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame by Jay-Z. He was the guy who announced you.
Yes.
And this is probably one of the biggest honors you
absolutely
have in your life.
Sure.
So,
sure.
I mean, did you expect it, first of all? What was your reaction? And like, I really want to know, who calls you to say, like, hey, Flash, we want to induct you in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
This probably was the most awkward of, you know.
Is this a candid camera?
This is probably the most awkward one, you know, that I had received as far as an award is concerned. Because I got this call on a Sunday night on my private line in my house.
Nobody
so
knows it, right?
I'm saying, who is this? And how did you get this number? He says, tomorrow, Monday afternoon or Monday morning, your name will be worldwide because we have all decided that you are going to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, this is a bad trick. And then
Sunday afternoon.
And then from 8 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning, phone ringing, phone ringing, phone ringing. Turn on channel 5, turn on channel 7, turn on this, turn on that. And I'm like, this is...
And you received only one phone call, that's
One phone call. One phone call, one person, and I don't even know who it was.
Really?
They have my number. To this day, I don't know who called me. But somebody got my private number, and they told me what it was, and it really happened, and it was quite an experience. And Jay-Z came in at the last possible minute because they didn't want to tell us who was going to induct us. Didn't know. And then I'm looking in the hallway, and I'm seeing, that's... He's walking in, he's walking onto the podium. What's up, Flash? I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's got this little speech. He says, man, I'm getting ready to do this. I'm like, wow, that was quite an honor.
Great honor,
That
man.
was
Great honor.
Quite an honor.
We really have little time left. I just want to ask you, you once said that your historical role model is Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
Is it true?
That's one of my role models because although he was a king, he always went after other and bigger things. He never settled.
So you've read about him?
Yeah, I know about him. Yeah, so I'm like, I like the way that he thought. I mean, I ain't like I did him going around killing people and the things that he did, but territory after territory after territory, his thinking was, I don't want to just be a king that just sits on a throne. I want to earn it, and that's how I want to do it. I don't want anybody to give me anything. I don't mind working for it and earn it because the people make you who you are, you know, and that's pretty much how I firmly believe.
And not going into politics, but do you know about the whole dispute between Macedonia and Greece? Are you familiar with it?
No.
We'll leave it for another time. So, Flash, what's next for Grandmaster Flash? Like, how do you top all of those things?
It's this thing called I'm getting this Polar Music Award.
Yep, 2019, right?
Yeah, I'm getting it this June, and that was a little awkward too, how that came about, you know, and I had to, because when I got the call, I'm like, Polar Music Award, and then when I did the research, you know, on the internet this time, you know, I'm like, the people that received us, like Paul McCartney, Metallica,
the greats.
You know, I'm like, a lot of these people, I used to DJ on the turntables, and it's like I'm going to be in their company.
Exactly. You sampled them.
Yeah, I humanly sampled them. So it was a pretty wonderful thing. So to get that, you know, I want to thank the country for picking me. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
Sure, and at the end, like, we all know the message. Like, what's your message to the viewers, just as, you know, to wrap it up?
If you believe in something, stick with it, because it's probably the next thing that man is looking for, and it never comes easy. It comes when it comes, when it comes.
And if it doesn't, like, at least you've tried.
It'll come. Just don't know when.
I know you like tea. So these are the best ones around in the whole tea. Good Nature tea. We also got something from Vitaminka for you and Viva Premium Juices, man. We just want to leave you in good hands. And I want to say a sincere thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Grandmaster Flesh, everybody.
Thank you, man.
Good show, man. Cool. Thanks.
Поздрав во хотел Панорамика. Таму го сместивме Грандмастер Флеш и екипата и морам да кажам дека се поминаа топ. Така да, хотел Панорамика, големо благодарам. Thank you, што ви рекле овие американци.